How we doing here?
I think we're rock and rolling, and the red button says live.
So we're on.
Live in New York City. No,
That's right.
Live in the treehouse.
Live from New York. It's
Wednesday night. Live. How's it going, everybody?
Welcome to Facebook Live. I'm John Gardner. This is Rad Mendoza, and we're the law firm of Gardner and Mendoza. You know, we get together every Wednesday night to give you updates on immigration law and any other legal issues that are important at the moment. And also we like to answer questions. That's the main reason we do this, is to get on here and get some questions answered. So if you have any questions involving immigration law specifically, or any other area of law that you think we may be able to help out with, but mostly immigration, then please put them in the comments and we'll get to them.
Yes, I am monitoring as we speak. I hope you guys are doing all right today. We thought we'd have a little change of scenery and come outside. It's a touch of fall.
Well, you know, we're going to be able to be out here for a while because this is the nice weather. It was too hot before, then it's going to get too cold. But for now, this is going to be just perfect for the next
never too hot.
Couple of months.
Never too hot.
Next couple of months. So,
hello, Miss Evelina. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. So what are we going to be talking about tonight? We are going to give you a few state court updates. Not much has changed there, but we'll talk about that briefly. A reminder about the Virginia Driver Privilege Card law that will be going into effect on January 1st. I'll be talking about that briefly as well. Radlin is going to give you some USCIS updates tonight as well. And I'm going to briefly discuss, and I say briefly because I don't want to bore everyone to death, but I am going to talk about
You're never boring, honey.
Thank you. But sometimes when you're talking about case law, it can get pretty rough going.
I think it's very exciting.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to talk briefly about a TPS ruling that came out of the Ninth Circuit. It's not a great ruling for some folks, but it's not the end of the line yet either. Okay.
Not the end of the line. Never the end of the line.
Never
when
the
lawyers
end of the
are
line.
involved.
That's right.
And justice.
That's right. It's what's the old saying? Well, it used to be for baseball, but in law now we say it's not over until Justice Roberts writes the opinion.
There you go.
Right?
Legal humor. You're the only one that laughed.
I'm sure.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing too.
I bet everybody out there watching laughed just now. A big hearty laugh.
So hello, Kate. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Joseph. Thank you for joining us.
And then finally, we're going to end up with a little fun. We're going to do some Chinese mooncake tasting. These are little yummy pastries that are traditionally eaten during the Mid-Autumn Festival, or the Moon Festival, and this is the Chinese calendar, which this year will land on October 1st. And so we were really lucky to have some really lovely Chinese mooncakes delivered.
Yes, a box was, look at this beautiful box that was dropped off
to our house from a friend.
Yes,
so,
BFF Tiff, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do. So we're going to give those a try and see what they're all about.
We're acting like we haven't tried them.
Yeah, we have. We're going to try them again.
We're going to try them again. Hi, Miss Deanna. I'm so sorry about yesterday. I owe you a personal apology. I hope you got my message yesterday. But I was supposed to call Miss Deanna yesterday and got a flu shot. First time in 20 years. Got home at 5. Reposed for a minute and then just conked for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it had anything to do with the flu shot. I don't know. Maybe just because I got talked into getting the flu shot. But I feel really good about getting the flu shot the first time in 20 years, and I don't have the flu.
Yeah, that's right.
So, we'll see.
Okay, why don't you tell them what our lawyers, we're lawyers, but we have a lawyer. Why don't you let them know what our lawyer always reminds us to tell everyone out there.
What does he say? He says, this is what he says. He says, remember, this is not legal advice that we're giving you as attorneys. This information that we're giving you is for informational and educational purposes only. So when we say the chestnut moon cake is the best, you can't take our word for that. You gotta experience it for yourself. So that is the the disclaimer that we have today.
Okay.
So don't take it as legal advice, guys. You know better than that.
Yeah.
We've been saying this for 6 months now.
That's
so.
right. And before we get into the state court updates, I also wanted to, we always like to read a little review. It's us bragging. I mean, we admit it. But tonight I'm going to read it because it mentions Radlin very specifically.
And I couldn't read it because I was too embarrassed to read it. So I'm making John read it. We normally flip. He normally does disclaimer.
Reads this, right?
I normally read it, but I was just too embarrassed to read it myself, just because.
But this really makes us proud.
I know, it just makes my heart melt, and I just remember the moment very well.
This was our latest review. When we scheduled our initial consultation, we were told another attorney in the firm would handle our case. After waiting in the conference room for about 5 minutes, in walks Mrs. Mendoza. We were so relieved since it was her YouTube video that caused us to come in for a consultation.
That YouTube video.
Mrs. Mendoza is the difference between a great attorney and an excellent attorney.
Just not looking right now.
Throughout the entire process, approximately 18 months, she kept us informed every step of the way, always there whenever we had questions. There were many times we were so happy we hired Mrs. Mendoza. Knowing her level of knowledge of immigration law put us at ease. Professional, personable, extremely knowledgeable, warm and friendly. I would also like to thank her excellent team members, Grace, Dominique, and Jacqueline, all professional.
Everyone mentioned how amazing is that.
Grace and Jacqueline contacted us on numerous occasions to see if we had any questions or concerns and informed us of any changes to our case. We give Mrs. Mendoza 10 stars. Immigration law excellence. Thank you. Wow.
That was a really nice review, and
that's a great review.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that.
I thank the team. Couldn't do it without the team. It's mostly the team, but
congrats to everybody.
Thank you to our clients who just wrote that amazing review. It really touched everyone's heart, and we felt great about it. But it was too generous. When you're talking about me, the others, yes, they're amazing. I try my best. So anyway, thanks for reading that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You're like a professional voiceover artist, the way you read that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. What's next?
So moving on. A couple things I want to hit very quickly, and then we're going to get to the USCIS updates, which I think there aren't a whole lot tonight, but we're going to get to those. Go ahead.
And remember, guys, please put your questions in the comments. I am monitoring them. Yeah. And that is what we're here for, to answer your questions.
First and foremost, that's
and
right.
To give you the updates, yes, that's very, very important too, but more important are your questions. So please write them in.
Yeah. So just a state court update. If you've been tuning in, you've heard me say this for several weeks now. If this is the first time you're tuning in, I just want to let you know the state courts are really back online, back in session, however you want to call it. I was in Virginia Beach today, and I got to tell you, they're in full force again. All right, a lot of people there. It was kind of like the old days. A couple changes. You do have to have a mask to get into the courthouse, and when you enter the courthouse, you are going to be asked some questions, whether you have any COVID-19 symptoms, whether you have been exposed to anybody who you know had COVID-19 symptoms or has COVID-19, whether you have traveled out of the country in the last 14 days. All right? But other than that, everything is business as usual. They've got all the courthouses are all marked with X's for places that you can sit. And again, you have to have a mask to get in. And this is the case everywhere. I've been in Newport News, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Hampton, Suffolk. All of them pretty much have the exact same protocol going on right now, but that's the situation. So if you have court coming up, just plan on being there, okay? Because everything is back, all right? Secondly, I always like to make sure that I remind everyone that the Virginia Tribe or Privilege Card law is going into effect on January 1st, 2021, and that is a new law that was just passed. And basically it says that you can get a driving privilege card so that you can drive legally in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And all you'll have to do is be able to pass the test, show proof of insurance, and show that you have income in Virginia that you reported on a tax return within the last year, okay? You will not have to show any kind of immigration status, all right? It's slightly different than a Virginia driver's license, which does require a showing of your immigration status. This does not. This is a driver privilege card. But if you get one, you will be able to drive in Virginia legally, and that's great. That really is a huge deal for so many of my clients. And so if you know anyone who you think will benefit from this new law, make sure you let them know, get the word out, because January 1st is approaching soon. And to do anything at DMV right now takes a long time because you have to make an appointment. Last week, somebody put in the comments for us that when they went to go do something at DMV, their appointment was scheduled 2 months out.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
So you can do the math. If you want to get that driving privilege card in January, you want to be getting online to dmvnow.com and getting that scheduled right now. Okay?
Is that the actual address? dmvnow.com?
dmvnow.com, I believe, yeah.
dmvlater.com, not
Nope.
dmvnow.com.
It's my kids always joke me when I say it's www. dot.
Not just the kids. the wife, too.
Yeah.
www.
It's www. That's the World Wide Web.
Right.
That's going to get you on to that big network of stuff that goes around the world. .dmvnow.com. All right.
Also types it into the browser.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to also really mention, this is related to the driver's license. I know now that when you're traveling, there's a certain date. It's October, and I'm just I'll have more firm date next week, but after some date in October, you have to have a star on your driver's license in order to travel through TSA, or you have to bring your passport. So I know that because when I renewed my driver's license in February, I had my expired U.S. passport, so I couldn't get the star on the driver's license to use at the airport starting in October 2020. So I'll get you guys that information, the dates and basically what you have to do in order to be able to travel by air using your Virginia driver's license.
Yeah, just to be clear, this driving privilege card, law that goes into effect January 1st, this will be for driving only. This card will not be able to be used for any other purposes. It's purely to allow you to drive legally in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Okay.
Aunt Jill is on.
Yes, she is, joining us from South Florida. Awesome. Good to see you. Okay. How about USCIS? What's going on over there? Anything?
USCIS. So I am basically beating the same drum that we've been beating really since COVID-19 started, and maybe even when we first did Facebook Live. And that is, especially since COVID-19 and the descoping of federal contracts with USCIS and the folks who assist immigration officers in doing their jobs, that those folks are getting cut back and getting cut. And so what USCIS has been saying is expect major delays with your filings. And the way to deal with major delays is to file, right? Is to file. File when you can, file now. If you have hesitation about filing because of a legal issue, or maybe there's something in your past that you're just thinking, I wonder whether I should, what I should do with that, then call us. Because it's only going to get longer. The time frames are only going to get longer. And this also kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that USCIS's filing fees are going up on October 2nd of this year, 2020. That's in a couple of weeks. So there is still time to file those applications that are really going up high, like the N-400, the application for naturalization, and that application is going up from $725 to $1170. Well, I should say $640 to $1170. So it's pretty significant jump. We still have time to assist with that. We have time to assist with adjustments of status, and those fees are going up significantly. If you're filing an I-130 green card plus a green card application, what we call the one-step, it's going up to $1760 to $2850, for example. So major delays are happening right now as we speak. We get a lot of people who say during the initial consultation, well, what's the time frame like? What is it going to be like? And let me just say that pre-COVID-19, we could expect an N400, an application for naturalization, to process through to our local office here in Norfolk and many other jurisdictions like Raleigh and even San Diego and LA at 6 to 9 months. I can't say that now. I can't say that it's going to take 6 to 9 months. It'll probably take much longer than that. Marriage cases were taking 6 to 9 months as well, and those are probably also going to take longer. So if you're concerned about timing, if you're concerned about how long it's going to take, our best information, I was going to say advice, our best information that we can give you right now about that is to file now. Even if you don't make the October 2nd, 2020, filing before that date, file shortly after that, because it's just going to get longer. The system is whoever files first, they're going to process that case first, so first in, first out, and you just want to get ahead of the game. So I'm, again, beating the same drum. I know you guys have heard us say this over and over again over the past several months, but that is the number one thing I wanted to share with you about the fees going up, and to file your case as soon as possible, even if you can't make it before October 2nd, 2020. The other big update that we have is that for those who have filed and you have received something from immigration, like a request for further evidence, or maybe you went to your N400 interview, your naturalization interview, and they said, hey, get me the taxes for the past 3 years, and you can't get that within the 30 days that they're asking, or maybe you've gotten a notice of intent to deny or a notice of intent to revoke, you are going to be given additional time. So that cutoff date time, it was from March 1st to September 11th. They've now extended that. So if you've gotten any type of notification that's requesting evidence, not any, but a request for evidence, an N14, a notice of intent to deny. Oh, somebody's crying about this.
Yeah, I just heard that.
This is actually good news. No need to cry down there. Then, and if you receive that in between the periods of March 1st, 2020 and January 1st, 2021, then you have an additional 60 days to respond. 60 days on top of your due date that's listed on the notification. So you get an RFE, it says it's due, September, no, let's not do so. Let's say it's due November 1st, 2020, tack on 60 days based on this new update that they're allowing people to have more time to respond. So it's good, it's bad. It's good in that if you can't get the documents within the 87 days or within the 30 days, then you can't get the documents because of COVID-19 or for whatever reason. It's bad because it also, it just, it's more procrastination for people to not get the request for evidence done and filed. So if it can help you, let it help you. If you can get the document and turn it in, obviously it's better to do that. So let me see here. Do we have a question?
We've had a couple questions.
Good. Sorry, I was just so
apologize.
focused on this.
No, that's good.
Information
but I
that I was
apologize.
sharing.
I scrolled past. There was a one early on. So
Okay, let's see here. So Emma says, can I file for N400 when my son's immigrant visa petition has just been approved? So let me answer the second question first. June Marcia says, can I share these to a Filipino-American organization? 100% for sure. Definitely. Thank you. And we appreciate any shares. We appreciate any follows, any likes. We appreciate all of it because hopefully it's helpful information for the community to hear, especially with the updates. So we really appreciate that. So let's go back to Emma's question. Can I file for N400 when my son's immigrant visa petition has been approved? I'm assuming that, what country are we talking about here? Let me see if I can figure it out. I can't. I was trying to figure out the country. So I'm assuming the concern is that the I-130 petition was filed as a lawful permanent resident, and now that lawful permanent resident is going to apply to become a U.S. citizen. Let's say that takes a year, and what impact is going from lawful permanent resident to U.S. citizen going to have on a petition that was initially filed as a lawful permanent resident? I think that's correct, right? Is that the issue we're talking about? Let me see here. Miss Emma, where'd you do the comment?
I was looking for it.
Okay, here we go.
There we
Got
go.
it.
Yeah, there was something before.
Will the fee for an approved immigrant visa petition be increased by October 2nd? Oh, okay. Ooh, it's a lot less complicated than I thought. It's a fee question. So if you filed the I-130, then you've already paid the I-130 fee, which right now is $535. It's actually going down October 2nd. And the immigrant visa, the National Visa Center fee is going to stay the same, $445. So I hope that's your question. If it's the other thing, then the answer is it depends on the visa bulletin. And if depending on the country, if this is the Philippines, then sometimes the petition that a lawful permanent resident files for their son is going to be faster than if that person were a U.S. citizen. But there are opt-out categories, so you can opt out of that if you actually naturalize before his case, you know, if you naturalize before his case is done. So hopefully that answers your question, and if that wasn't your question, then feel free to clarify.
And somebody had a question that came in. I apologize. That's what I was trying to get back to.
Gotcha.
Much earlier than that.
Yes, if you have a question and we haven't answered it, can you, if you don't mind posting again, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sorry. Somebody out there sent a question in a while back.
It scrolls up and then we can't see it for some reason.
We've lost it now. Sorry about that.
All right, so, okay. Just stop me if there's a question.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out this time if it pops up again, because I just feel bad the person. I want to make sure they get that question answered. But
all right.
Scrolled off too.
Fantastic.
quickly.
I also wanted to throw out the immigration court 1-800 number again. So if you have immigration court and you think that maybe your case is continued or you just have no idea when your court is, then you should call the 1-800 number and put your A number in. So that's 1-800-898-7180. And you know, one of these days when we have more time, we're going to have that like number pop up on the screen to help you guys more. So 1-800-898-7180 is a number that you can call in order to put your A number in to see when your court date is going to be. Hugely helpful, especially when the court dates are changing so much. And you know, maybe you didn't get an updated notification, but we call that number quite a bit ourselves. So it's something that's extremely helpful. All right. I think that's all the updates that I have for USCIS right now. I think that I mentioned last week, and I've been to an immigration interview since then. One of my couples, it was a marriage case. My couples got split up right at the very beginning, and the officer said that it was so there could be social distancing in the office, and so did that. But then the next time, that didn't happen. Same officer, an interview after that. So not sure what's up with that. You know, the first time with the first case, there were no issues at all in the case. It's not like they asked, they split my clients up and asked them questions, and that were to see whether it was an actually real and bona fide marriage. So maybe the supervisor said not to do that anymore, just because it takes up more time. So everything is seemingly just going forward with immigration. When you go in there, and if you've been in there before, it is kind of like a ghost town. It's not like the Virginia Beach courthouse. I mean, it's completely dead. And, you know, I that will probably change a little bit. The Application Support Center, and that's the office downstairs that processes the biometrics, I mean, they keep half the lights on in there. Seriously, there's hardly anyone ever there. I don't know what's going on in that space, but we're doing cases, and it's full steam ahead. It's just not at the capacity that we're used to. So shall turn it over to you with a TPS update.
Yeah, and if you have any more questions while I'm going over this case, you can put them in there, and Radlin will be able to monitor those. Okay.
I will. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an update, and I apologize in advance. Some of this may be a little boring, because when you're actually talking about cases, it can sometimes be boring. But I'll try to make it as easy and
I think you should try to make it exciting
as possible. I'm going to make it extremely exciting. Okay.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, once upon a time. No. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, TPS is something called is temporary protected status. All right, and this is a temporary relief that is basically for nationals of designated foreign countries that have been stricken with a natural disaster, or they have armed conflict, or they have some other extraordinary and temporary situation going on. Okay, and there are countries that fall under this. 2 days ago, a case was decided that came out of the Ninth Circuit, which is out in California, and it's a federal case, but that's the area of the country we're talking about, the Ninth Circuit. And basically, a 3-judge panel held that the preliminary injunction that had been imposed back in 2018, okay, against deporting some of these people was incorrectly decided, and they lifted that injunction, okay? Specifically, they vacated a preliminary injunction that barred implementation of this deportation, okay? So let me kind of explain what that means. What that means is, in 2018, the Trump administration said that, look, we are going to end TPS for 4 countries, and the countries that they said that they were ending it for were Haiti, El Salvador, Haiti, El Salvador, I want to make sure I get these right, Nicaragua, and Sudan, okay? So those 4 countries, they said, TPS is ending, and if you had TPS and you're from one of those countries and that's how you're staying in the United States, you got to go back to those countries, all right? And a judge in San Francisco, a federal judge in San Francisco in 2018 said, no, you can't do that because you didn't follow the procedures correctly. And so he imposed an injunction on that deportation. He said, no, you can't do that, okay? So those people, while the injunction was in place, folks from those 4 countries, they were able to stay in the United States. Well, it was appealed up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and it was heard by a 3-judge panel. This 3-judge panel in a 2-1 decision said, no, San Francisco judge, you got it wrong. Actually, they do have the power to do this. There's no reason they can't. It's solely within their discretion, and so we're going to lift your injunction, and we're going to greenlight these deportations. We're saying that, go ahead, administration, you can go ahead and deport folks from these countries because TPS for those countries has now been ended, and that's up to the administration to make that decision. Okay.
And is it because the humanitarian issue is no longer there, right?
Right, a determination that whatever had caused the TPS to go into effect in the first place was no longer required, or no longer present, no longer in force, and therefore we can go ahead and end it. All right. So that's really bad news for anyone who's here right now from Nicaragua, Sudan, or El Salvador. Not so much Haiti, because the folks that are from Haiti, they still can stay, because pending all of this, a judge in New York issued a separate injunction for just Haiti. Okay, so this Court of Appeals in California in the Ninth Circuit specifically said that, okay, well, Haiti, they can stay, because that's a separate injunction that's pending appeal in that circuit, which I think is what, the Second Circuit, is that in New York? I wish Steve were on, he could tell us, he was up in New York.
I think it's second.
In any event, so that's where it stands right now. I say not to panic because this is, for those of you who aren't familiar with the way the Court of Appeals works, these cases are heard by a 3-judge panel in the circuit that it's in. So this is in the Ninth Circuit. It's a 3-judge panel. It was a 2-1 ruling, and what will happen probably is there'll be an appeal now. And the appeal will go to the full Ninth Circuit, and what's called an en banc review. And, you know, the Ninth Circuit has a reputation for being very sympathetic to immigration issues, and so they will probably, would be my guess, and I'm speculating now, but I'm guessing that they may rule differently. They may rule that this was a bad decision by the 3-judge panel, and then, of course, it can get appealed again, and that will go up to the Supreme Court, and what the Supreme Court does, you know, who knows. However, as we were joking at the beginning, you know, the court is pretty split right now, with the Chief Justice, John Roberts, usually being the swing vote in these kinds of cases, and he's shown a lot of sympathy for immigration issues so far. Some of his decisions have made immigration groups really happy, and more conservative groups not so happy.
Who knew? John Roberts.
Yeah, and so what he'll do, who knows, in this particular situation, if it even goes that far. But if it does, I think that he'll be more sympathetic to this cause. So we'll see. Stay tuned. But unfortunately for now, the 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit has green-lighted basically the removal of anyone who's in the United States right now and is here because of TPS from Nicaragua, Sudan, or El Salvador. Was that exciting or super boring?
That was really great.
That was pretty boring.
No, it's very important information.
If anyone's
Here's the thing,
interested,
we're talking about 400,000 people here, right?
Yeah, the case is styled as Ramos versus Wolf, if you want to look it up, okay? And again, it was filed September 14th, 2020, and this is out of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Wolf, as in W-O-L-F, not
Yeah.
Woof, as in W-O-O-F. That's John's Midwestern accent.
Yeah, Ramos versus Wolf. Wolf.
Wolf. Okay, Ruby, yes, your question disappeared. Do you mind typing that question again? I think that was your question, and we'd love to see it, and we would love to hopefully answer it, if we can. Yeah, so type that question in. So I posted on my personal page a memory of Citizenship Day that we had last year, and want to remind everyone that we are going to have Citizenship Day again this year, February 20th, 2021, which is the day after my birthday. I know, I've said it like 3 times, which means my birthday is on February 19th, okay? So, and this is Citizenship Day is a 1-day event where immigration attorneys, immigration professionals, volunteers, interpreters, translators, law students, we come together for a day, and we assist the community in filing their N400 applications for free, which is amazing. We helped about 40 people last year, and we do that number routinely every year, and I've been the site coordinator for many years, and I'm not telling you that to brag, I'm telling you that because it's such an important event for me personally, and I'm not going to get into the reasons why. It's such an important event because it always kind of makes me choked up, but we're going to have that, and I would love any ideas on how we can have this event safely. So we typically have about 20 volunteers, and we have people coming in, probably 60 people, 70 people just in and out throughout the day, family members, the actual applicants, children of the family members. And, we want to try to have a safe event, and this is typically held at St. Gregory in the Tobias Room, so it's not a big room. So we're thinking about how we could make this work virtually, and, we're in the legal industry, and maybe there's some people out there in the tech industry and are better at solving these types of problems than we are. Face-to-face works best in these cases just because a lot of times the folks who come to us for Citizenship Day, they may not be the most tech savvy. Now, this is just generally speaking, and not everyone, but not the most tech savvy. We're really trying to get information from these clients. It's sometimes hard for our clients, for the applicants to, remember where they've lived for the past 5 years, remember where they've worked for the past 5 years. So our volunteers are really sitting there for 1.5, 2.5 hours with an applicant, trying to get this application completed as well as possible. And so if you have any ideas on how we can do this, because we're brainstorming at Gardner Mendoza as well as other immigration attorneys in Virginia, and we'd love your ideas, because this could be an amazing event. It could even have bigger impact. So let us know, shoot in the comments, shoot me a message through Messenger, through Gardner Mendoza, or you can shoot me a message through Messenger at my personal Messenger. That's my name, Radlin Mendoza. And I would love to hear any type of advice that you guys could give for something like that. So Ruby has not posted up her question. And my cousin from the Philippines is saying, hello, how's it going? Thanks for the shout out. Let's see. She hasn't posted a question, but Ruby, we'd be happy to answer it. Let me just see if I have anything else to cover.
Hopefully we can move on to the mooncakes.
Yeah, let's move on to the mooncake. So, oh, wait, hold on a second. Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Ruby says, hello again, my 751 form, apologize about that, is pending. I had to go out of the country, family reasons. I had to get a stamp in my passport to be able to travel because my previous green card was lost. You think I would have problems to get back in the U.S. because I only have the stamp and my receipt? No. I don't think you're going to have any problems getting back into the United States. Hopefully you haven't been out for more than 6 months. But no, you should not have any problems whatsoever. Look at all the love we're getting. Is that from Kate? Kate does all those hearts. Which we appreciate that. So I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything here. Passport, the I-551 passport. Yeah, you should not have any problems whatsoever. Ruby, if you've been out for more than 6 months or more than a year, that's a different situation. But it doesn't seem like that's the case here, so you should be good to go with the letter, right? Wait, we have the letter? Yeah, we have the extension letter, and the 551 stamp. The 551 stamp is evidence that you are a lawful permanent resident of the United States. It's just like the lawful permanent resident card. I mean, the stamp can be, I guess, more easily fabricated and forged than the green card, but they know what the I-51 stamp is. Also, let them know I'd have to travel before I left. Should I call and let them know, because I know sometimes they try to visit us. I think this is because of the 751 pending. Not sure what that question actually means, but if you're talking about calling USCIS to let them know that you've traveled, I don't really think you need to do that. The 751, for those who don't know, basically you're removing the conditions on a 2-year green card, and you complete this 751 with a bunch of supporting documents to show that your marriage to your U.S. citizen spouse is a bona fide, a real marriage based on anything other than immigration purposes, anything other than just getting the green card. So if you've submitted your 751 and you're talking about how USCIS, and I'm just assuming, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you're talking about when USCIS comes and investigates and drops in on the couple's home to see if they're there. It should be fine. That's not, depending on when you filed your 751, that's not really something that happens at the very beginning of that process. If USCIS thinks there's an issue or a problem, it happens way at usually at the end of the process, and your 751 be pending for like 3 years for that to happen. So I don't know when you filed your 751, but if you filed it within the year, then you should be fine, and definitely not expecting a home visit unless May 20th. Yeah, no, May, June, July, August, September. No, they haven't even. Have they even opened that? They may not even open. No, they did open it. You know that you got a receipt. I'm kidding. They're not even looking at that case for ever, right? It takes 18 months. So
Yeah.
you're good. Don't stay out of the country for more than 6 months, if you can at all help it. All right, awesome question, and I'm glad you reposted it, Ruby. Appreciate that.
And before we do anything else, I wanted to just, be careful with my words. When I was talking about the TPS case, I was casually using the word deport. Folks that are here with TPS and the TPS is ending, they're not technically getting deported. They're just being told that their TPS will be ending and that they have to leave. They can't stay here with TPS. That is different from being deported. So I apologize for sort of being
loose with the words. What
Just,
kind of lawyer are you?
Yeah, I know. I was just being sloppy with the language. All right.
Don't be sloppy with the language.
Yeah. Okay. Not deported. They're
not deported.
They're not getting deported.
Yes.
They're just their TPS is ending, unless something changes.
Okay, so tell us about the mooncake. What is the mooncake festival about? So our daughter's friend, BFF Tif, she dropped this box off, and look how beautiful this box is.
Yes. So this box contains Chinese mooncakes, and we discovered that these, like as I said at the beginning, the Chinese mooncake is traditionally eaten during the Mid-Autumn Festival, or what's called the Moon Festival, or the Mid-Autumn Festival, which this year will land on October 1st.
October 1st.
Yeah.
Great time of year.
So I admit I didn't know anything about this this Mid-Autumn Festival or Moon Festival, and I discovered that it's on the 15th day of the 8th month of the Chinese calendar, which is in September or October in the Gregorian calendar.
The Gregorian calendar.
Okay, which is from...
these are things I don't really know that much about,
right,
but it's okay, we're learning.
From Pope Gregory, which began in 1582, and that's like basically just the calendar that most of the world uses. When we think of the calendar.
So when we think of the calendar, we need to think of Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, when we say, well, today is September 16th, we're not talking about the Chinese calendar.
We're talking about the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah,
Got it.
But this is tied to the Chinese calendar.
Yes, and look, here's the box. Can you guys see the box? As you can see, there were 8 mooncakes. And I've been trying to watch the carb intake, but man, it all fell to the wayside when this box of mooncakes came in. So I'm not Chinese. A lot of people think that I'm Chinese. I'm Filipino. My parents are Filipino. But this really reminds me of hopia. And if there are any Filipinos out there, tastes like hopia. Dare I say, it tastes better than hopia.
Don't say it.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I just...
So the flavors of these, one is a chestnut mooncake.
Yeah.
One is a pumpkin mooncake. One is a purple yam mooncake. And one is something I'd never heard of, I admit, wax gourd paste.
Is that the wax gourd paste that we thought was kind of waxy?
Yeah, so one is a wax gourd paste. So
there they are.
There they are.
So our favorite so far, and we're not. Are we gonna actually eat this on live? Because I mean, what if we get it stuck on the teeth and everything?
Well, should
we should probably taste
try
one.
the chestnut one again.
We should try the chestnut one again, just to make sure that it was that amazing. Which one is it? Do we know? John had to actually line up the symbols.
Yep, here they are.
He's lining up. It's basically like a box of Cadbury chocolates, and you don't know what the flavors are.
Right.
And there's a key in Cadbury chocolates.
But
right?
I figured it out.
John also figured out the key to these mooncakes.
Because I figured out there's this language on them, and I can't, these symbols.
The Chinese characters.
And then I figured out what they mean.
Yes.
And what they match up to.
Yes, this man is very resourceful when it comes to figuring out. But so far,
this is the most challenging. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In our opinion, the chestnut.
Yeah. Figuring out what these were was the most challenging thing I've done since trying to catch
the TPS explanation.
No. Since trying to catch the train in Japan. Make sure we get on the right one.
Okay, check it out. Look at how beautiful that is.
Beautiful that
See,
is.
it's prettier than hopia.
I mean, that's awesome.
I know.
Right?
Look at that. It's so cool. Okay.
So
we're going to end our Facebook Live eating, and hopefully you guys are getting ready to eat.
So,
but this chestnut one, so good. It's got like a nutty flavor. It's chestnut, so yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. If you don't have any mooncakes at your house, run out and get some. I'm sure you can find them somewhere.
Yeah. And get it in this beautiful box.
Yeah.
And for all the children, it's so good, right? Just, it's so delicious. Tasting it again for the very first time. Let me just do a PSA here, because we asked the friend what any of it meant, right? What is the Moon Festival? What types of cakes are these? What's in the box? She had no idea. This Chinese American kid born in the United States, no clue. So we had to look it up. Teach your kids to be able to tell other people what this stuff is. I'm not complaining. We love this kid. She's always bringing food to us, but this is going to be the top thing. What is the dumplings?
I give it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Any questions? You can post them and save them for next week. We look forward to answering them and coming back. So please share our page and like us. And if you have any questions, you can always call us. This is where it gets like really infomercially. It's 757-464-9224. Our email info@gmlaw.net. And of course, you can also just hit the messenger button and send us a message. But for now, we'll catch you next time.
Have a great night, everyone. Take care.
Bye, guys. Thank you.